Hey guys, so with the global Dokkan Now releasing tonight, I thought it would be a good idea just to recap everything we know about the Dragon Ball Heroes collab over on JP, as well as the information that we received during the Dragon Ball Heroes live stream yesterday. Well, I guess technically 2 days ago, I think. Yeah, not too much new information in addition to this illustration that we got yesterday that I did a video on already, but something that's interesting to note is that the Super Saiyan 4 Vegito is going to be getting a Dokkan event. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a Dokkan Fest exclusive unit. It can be like the physical Arale when we had the Dr. Slump collab like years and years and years ago at this point. So that physical Arale obviously is not a Dokkan Fest exclusive. She was just a collab unit, but she had a Dokkan event and she Dokkan awakened using the medals from that event. So I assume that is what this Vegito is going to be like. He's going to not be a Dokkan event or a Dokkan exclusive unit. He's just going to be a main collab unit, and he's only going to be available on these Dragon Ball Heroes banners. The big question is, are these Heroes banners, are these Heroes characters going to be added to the general pool? And I think there's a strong indication that they will be after the celebration, because of the fact that, take a look at like what Mass Saiyan is, take a look at what Tapion is. And they both have Dokkan events. You know, Mass Saiyan has a Dokkan event, Tapion has a Dokkan event. And the fact that they're in the general pool, but they have Dokkan events, means that I think there's a decent possibility that they add all these guys to the general pool. So that I presume this Dokkan event is going to be on rotation with all the other Dokkan events. So whenever that Dokkan event comes around, you'll be able to farm his medal, so that if you end up pulling Vegito at some point, you know, on any banner that he appears on, you'll be able to Dokkan Awaken him. So from that Dokkan event, obviously Vegito will be Dokkan Awakening, and then also Super Saiyan 4 Broly will also be Dokkan Awakening. And then I guess the other 4 new units here will not be Dokkan Awakening immediately upon release. I guess if we go off of what we've seen in previous collabs, they'll probably be Dokkan Awakening whenever we get the next collaboration celebration. Because last year, basically all the prior year units, well, most of them did Dokkan Awaken. And I think this year we'll probably see a bunch of the old ones Dokkan Awaken as well, like Dark Mask King, Black Mask Saiyan, Super Mira, some of those guys that we haven't seen Dokkan Awaken yet finally get those awakenings. And then number 2, the other sort of big thing I wanted to talk about is there's going to be a new special event that's going to drop with this celebration. And then they talked about the fact that you'll be able to farm up free-to-play units from that event, which is cool. We saw that similar to last year when we had I think it's Great Saiyan 4, who was awakened from Beat, that you could farm from that event. And I think that was the only farmable unit, was it? No, there was also farmable Cumber. Yeah, so Cumber and Beat were the 2 farmable units from last year's special event, and then I assume this year's going to be a new one, and then you'll be able to farm up a new unit from that event. Alright, so shifting gears real fast, there was some, I guess, shenanigans going on with YouTube, where a lot of different creators were uploading the super attacks, because yes, they did actually reveal the super attacks for Super Saiyan 4 Vegito as well as Super Saiyan 4 Broly during the live stream yesterday, the Heroes live stream. So people on YouTube uploaded the videos, and they actually received a copyright claim, and the contents of the claim, in terms of what content the claim was being issued under, was for Dokkan Now Volume 3. So that's interesting, right? You upload a clip of a super attack animation for a unit that is not yet a part of the game, technically, on global, and Dokkan Now Volume 3 copyrights that. So what that essentially tells us, with like 99.9% certainty at this point, is that the Super Saiyan 4 Vegito and Broly's animations are going to be featured in the Dokkan Now premiere tonight. Which basically means that Global will be getting the hero stuff at the same time as JP, and that is what the Dokkan Now presumably is for. So I assume when they do the Dokkan Now, which this video probably is going up at my normal time, 11:15 a.m. Eastern time. The Dokkan Now is going up at, I think it's 2 a.m. Eastern time, which is like, what is like 14-15 hours from when this video goes live. So we'll know when that Dokkan Live goes up. They should tell us some details of the kits of these units. If they go, you know, with the same format they did for Bardock, because back when they released Bardock, or they revealed Bardock in Dokkan Now, which was another same time celebration with JP, they did actually show some of his details. I think they actually showed everything. They actually showed his leader skill as well as his passive, both untransformed and transformed. So I wouldn't be surprised if they went ahead and showed us some of the details for passives and leadership skills for the Super Saiyan 4 Vegito, and as well as Broly, and maybe some of the other units as well. And they might dive into more stuff as well, like, okay, what is the special event that's coming? What are the farmable units? What's the login bonus look like? Stuff like that, because we are still in the midst of the thank you celebration on Global, and that celebration does go until the 3rd of December. So this is sort of like an overlapping thing here with that celebration. They probably figured that, okay, this celebration kind of sucks. We're just going to ignore the second half of it or whatever. So I'm fine with that. But that is pretty much all the new information that we received from the live stream, as well as developments over the past day. With that said, let's go ahead and start talking about some of these units and what we might be able to see out of their kits. Okay, so let's start with the two units that people seem to be less hyped about, which I don't blame them for. First one, we have Deborah, and then we have the Toa. So this is, like I was talking about in my other video, this is Demon God Deborah Zeno. So he's not going to have the same name as Deborah. His name is not just simply Deborah. And what's interesting about this guy is he is technically a demon god, as the name suggests. So he should be on a realm of gods, technically. So if you take a look at the Deborah that exists right now, this is, I mean, this guy and the Int one are the only really two Deborahs that exist, and there's like the AGLSR one. But in terms of categories, he's on Majin Buu Saga. This one will not be on Majin Buu Saga. He will be on Siblings Bond, and he probably will be on Terrifying Conquerors, and then he'll also be on Dragon Ball Heroes, and he'll be on Realm of Gods. So, I mean, he could be good for the Terrifying Conquerors team. This team has actually gotten a lot of buffs recently on JP with the Turles squad and the the First Form Frieza EZA. So a lot of very, very strong buffs to that category. If this guy is STR, by the way, this Deborah, and he's like a very, very nice fit for the Terrifying Conquerors team, he's going to make the Super Battle Road even easier for that team to run an extreme strength team on and just destroy it. Me personally, what I'm looking forward to most out of this celebration is a huge, huge buff to the Dragon Ball Heroes category, because the team is good, but it's lacking like a full roster of units that can work very well together. So we need one of those like super ultra powerful support units that's going to tie the team together without necessarily having the links really impede the synergy between all these units. Next we have Toa. I'm hoping that Toa is going to fulfill that role, because whenever they release a Toa, I always really feel like she's going to be like the main support unit of the batch. So this is the current Toa that we have, also another Dragon Ball Heroes collab unit. She is on Peppy Gal's Time Travelers, Resurrected Warrior. Oh yeah, this Deborah also will be on Time Travelers too, I forgot about that. So, another category for Deborah. Peppy Gal's Time Travelers, Resurrected Warriors, Siblings Bond, Dragon Ball Heroes, Revenge, and Battle of Wits. So I assume this Toa is also going to be on all these categories in addition to Realm of Gods. She should also be on Realm of Gods, because again, her name technically is Demon Goddess Toa. So I assume she's going to be on Realm of Gods. Again, Realm of Gods getting a buff in every celebration. The meme continues. But, so this Toa, she's Extreme Class Allies Ki +3, attack and defense +30%. And then she has this extra buff when your HP dips below 30% once only. This Toa is still pretty good. Lowering attack on super attack is also pretty valuable. But I think like this Toa, maybe like giving, again, 3 Ki, and then maybe being an orb changer, or maybe even a double orb changer, I think would benefit this team a lot. Just based on the fact that, again, if you're running a team, we could actually pull up the category real quick. Because, like, for instance, if you're running somebody like, I don't know, this, like, Demigra or something, and you're running him alongside a rotation of, I don't know, this Super Saiyan 3 Gohan, like, they're not going to share any links together. So you're going to want a character like Toa, if she's an orb changer, you know, that a character like that is going to be able to mesh those two units together, even though they're not technically sharing that many links. So it'll at least help the team out a little bit. I feel like that's the biggest weakness this team has right now, because you have characters like Super Pycon, like Baby Janemba, then you have like this Boo, then you have a bunch of Saiyans, then you have like, I don't know, Golden, like there's so many different types of units with varying link sets that don't mesh well. And I feel like that's the biggest weakness of this team. But now that we're getting like a very, very solid core of Super Saiyan 4 characters, that's going to also help the team out a lot. Alright, so now we're going to jump into talking about these Super Saiyan 4 characters. I think, again, if you go back to sort of the road up to this collab, it really started with Gogeta. And them deciding to drop this Gogeta before the Heroes collab, like we knew was coming, very, very telegraphed that we were going to be getting a Super Saiyan 4 themed Heroes collab. So I feel like at least one or two of these characters, if not all four, are probably going to be oriented toward buffing this Grade A power category over just the Dragon Ball Heroes category. And I think it's safe to say that at least one of these guys, I presume Super Saiyan 4 Vegito, I'm praying one of these guys has a 170 leader skill for the Heroes category, because our best leader for this category at this point is this Fu still. He's only a 133 key leader across the board. It's not good enough in this day and age. You can't really run the team effectively with that. I mean, it's decent. It's decent at best, but you're not going to be competitive with like the best teams in the game. But if they make these guys really, really good and they mesh well together, and then they give this guy like a 170 across the board leader skill for Dragon Ball Heroes, all of a sudden this team is very, very powerful. And in addition to that, like I was talking about earlier, I think maybe one of these four, it might seem weird to have a Super Saiyan 4 character be a support unit, but maybe like a Grade 8 power, maybe this Bardock, let's just take this Bardock as an example. What if this Bardock was like, I don't know, attack and defense plus 50% to Grade 8 power, and that was like that was like the first part was passive, and then he did like chance to counter supers and he seals and like all that stuff. Like that could be a very, very powerful addition to this category, because no one on this team really can do all of those things. And like there are certain support units on this category, like the Grade 8 Tora, Grade 8 Tora, who is pretty good. I think he supports super class allies. So he can be a support unit for this category, but we don't have like a monstrous support unit for this category that's going to like make it ridiculously powerful. And I feel like that's something that they can do with this Bardock, or even any of these Super Saiyan 4 characters. I would assume it would either be Bardock or Super Saiyan 4 Gohan. And then I think they would probably reserve the Vegito and Broly to be like the hard hitters who are like able to solo things by themselves. All right, so last but not least, we'll talk about the Vegito and Broly real quick. Broly, I don't really know what to expect from Broly. Most Brolys in this game really don't have a lot of defensive capabilities. Even like Dragon Ball Super Broly, he has okay defense, but it's not anything crazy. All the Dragon Ball Z Brolys are terrible defensively, except for, I guess, the physical EZA one, because he stacks, but initially his defense isn't the best. Obviously the LR STR Broly has terrible defense. The Dokkan Fest STR1 has terrible defense. So, I mean, Broly's in this, and obviously Super Saiyan 3 Broly also has terrible defense. So, Broly's in this game have a bad track record on terms of defense. So, I'm thinking they just go down the path of making this guy like a mega, mega, mega hard hitter, but his defenses are not that good. So, I would not like to see that. I'd rather him be a balanced type unit, but we'll see what they end up doing. And then for Vegito, I've seen a lot of people say like, oh, he's going to be the first character to counter normals and super attacks. Definitely could happen, because obviously Super Saiyan 4s have had the gimmick since the beginning of this game, since the first one was introduced in year 2 anniversary, to have a chance at countering super attacks. And I feel like they all could have that capability for sure. And that would make this team even more ridiculous. But what I'm thinking, and this is actually an inspiration that I got from his actual Dragon Ball Heroes card, the card that has the same illustration as this, I think it's from UM5, I think it was the secret rare of UM5. His ability is he's able to steal power stats from the enemy, which basically means that he attacks the enemy, and he attacks the enemy group, and then he's able to, like, I guess, take their power stat and just add it to his own power stat. So what I was thinking about what he could do is maybe he's a normal counter unit like AGL Super Vegito, or the transformed STR LR Super Vegito. And every time he counters, he gets stronger and the enemy gets their attack lowered. Can you imagine how strong that would be? So every time you counter, you lower the attack of the enemy and you gain attack for yourself. So that could be something they do, but they would have to obviously balance it out, because that sounds ridiculous, especially from turn 1. Like the thing that makes the STR LR Super Vegito good, obviously his counters are ridiculous, and they just didn't care about the fact that he could see super attacks, so they made him practically invincible. But you have to get the transformation first, obviously, right? So he doesn't start immediately out of the gates being Super Vegito. The thing with like counter units is if they start out turn 1 being able to do these counters, like that's what makes physical Vegito Blue so ridiculous, because he's able to do that starting from turn 1, and that makes him ridiculously viable in every mode in the game, really valuable in Super Battle Road. And if they go down the same path with this Vegito, and they do what I said, where they have him lower the attack of the enemy and then gain attack every time he counters, like that's you're talking about a super broken unit. So we'll see if they end up doing that. We'll see if he ends up being a Dokkan Fest exclusive. If I had to guess, I would say he's probably not going to be a Dokkan Fest exclusive. Otherwise, I feel like they would have said that he would be. But there's always a chance. It's like nothing's written in stone at this point because we just don't know yet. But I guess in 15 hours from now, we will know. So that is it from me. Hope you guys enjoyed. And let me know down below what you guys are expecting out of this collab. And if you guys are excited for this to come to global as well. I know a lot of people were upset because they don't have stones, which is understandable because we've had anniversary, then we had worldwide celebration, then we've had this thank you celebration, sort of like all back to back stuff. And that's what this time of year is in this game. So it's unfortunately how it is. But I will see you guys all in the next one.